Welcome back. Our next guests have been traveling back and forth between the Bahamas and Ghana, uncovering the origins of Junkanoo, collecting information, and making records. Here to tell us about his experience is Christopher Davis, Pan-Africanist, and Queen Mother, Angelique McKay. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Now, I know you both have official titles that I didn't want to chop up on the show, so I will start with Queen Mother to introduce yourself with your official title and just explain to us how you received that title.
I am Queen Mother, a Safa Churiba of Pawcasoo and the Ahanta people of Western Ghana. I received that title in March of this year in Pawcasoo, where Christopher also received his huge title that is just so amazing. So we were embraced back into the Ahanta tribe. We did official ceremonies at the palace with the king, and we were welcomed back into the Ahanta tribe.
I love it. I could feel the energy.
Yes.
And, tell us, Christopher, about your title and what does that role mean?
It's Nano Safahini John Kwao II. Essentially, in my research, we discovered the origins of Junkanoo, specifically surrounding its namesake, the man that we know as John Canoe. His real name was John Kwao, right? And he was a general from the Ahanta people, the king of the warriors. And it's still very overwhelming for me. It's a title that I wasn't expecting to receive, but essentially, it essentially means that I am John Canoe II. They brought back his throne and essentially put me on it. And of course, they are a matrilineal people. So my mother had to sit there before I sit there. And in March, she had to sit there before I sit there. And of course, I should add at the end of Pawcasoo. Today, Pawcasoo is known as Princess Town. Pawcasoo was the original name of the village or the city at the time when John Kwao, aka John Canoe, was around.
So tell us how this journey began in terms of your research here in the Bahamas and how you ended up in Ghana.
A lot of people that know me, they know that I work for AMMC, but I also take it far and beyond my role at AMMC. And I've been doing a lot of freelance research on just anything to do with African history in the Bahamas, Black history in the Bahamas, the way we fought against slavery. And I think that many of us always knew that and always felt in our bones we never got our real history. So it began with me writing a book that acknowledges fully and unapologetically the African or Black aspect and perspectives of our history. And then I knew that Junkanoo was something special. I started to do preliminary research. Then I discovered that these are Ahanta people and saying that this is where this guy that we know as John Kwao was from in colonial records. I made it there for the first time in the summer of 2021, and I was absolutely blown away. Met Chief Abu Simbin, Augustine Yao, as well as our brother, Alice Kofi, the oral historian of Princess Town. And they just hit me with more information. That was probably the first time in my life I just shut up and listened for 4 hours and didn't say nothing. You know?
Hey, I can feel you because I've been following you guys on Facebook and on social media, the journey, and it's just been such an exciting unfolding of information, connection, reconnection, and just something that we're looking forward to evolving and blossoming into its full potential. Tell us a little bit of the Ahanta culture.
It's just amazing. I just want to continue to say every opportunity I get, I felt like I was home. I literally went back home. And I would say when I first landed in Ghana in March, I literally stepped into my destiny. Because I'm the CEO of the Junkanoo Commandos, the Cacique Award-winning Junkanoo Commandos. So everyone that knows me knows what Junkanoo means to me. So to hear that research, when I went in Princess Town and atop the fort where John Kwao defended his people against enslavement, I became extremely emotional. Tears rolled. I'm not a crybaby, but tears rolled. And we have found going back and back and back that our ancestors would have brought everything from the Ahanta region here with us. When we did our initiation ceremony to welcome us back into the tribe, because essentially we are stolen children. So we were welcomed back home. The necklace that was put around us was made of sursi, which is the most healing herb there. and it's the most healing one here. So it was very emotional. And for me as a Junkanoo, one of the things that we do when we travel, we carry Junkanoo music workshops and artist workshops. And we always have to carry cowbells with us. They have the cowbells exactly
Wow.
how we have the cowbells and ring it
Wow.
exactly how we ring it.
That's
and
powerful.
I was in awe. I could not believe it. And we've traveled around the world taking Junkanoo, and to come right back to where it all began was amazing.
So tell us some of the long-term goals for this project, and where do you want this to end up, let's say in the next 5-10 years and going forward into perpetuity?
Well, from a Pan-Africanist point of view, my real career and profession is history historian, also an activist, and I guess you could say a political activist to an extent. So first and foremost, I think the lowest hanging fruit is to change the historical narrative of the Bahamas, because the first ship that ever came here from Africa brought 300 Ahanta warriors here who were serving directly under our hero, John Canoe. And that brought 300 people here when we had less than 250 blacks living there permanently. Then the other ship, guess where it came from? That same place. Those two ships were owned by Governor Fenney and Woods Rogers. But we are just giving this presentation of Woods Rogers like he's some type of hero, when he was one of the shrewdest slave traders. Slave traders used to call him bad because he was doing it illicitly.
Wow.
I say that to say this: it changes the entire dynamic of who we are as a people. We've been conditioned to believe that we are more passive than our neighbors. When we have this direct connection to this guy John Quao, who was one of the baddest warriors in African history, and that is who he was. That is why his name survived. Secondly, we hope to create, and we already been doing that, and I'm sure Queen Mother will elaborate a little bit on that. We're not just talking about history and culture, we're looking to create meaningful and profound connections between the entire diaspora and the Ahanta people. So we're talking about things like farming, we're talking about anything that you could think about, pretty much trade machine, we're talking about leather slippers, all sorts of different things. And it would be something that's organized by Mr. Andrew Wilson, entrepreneur and fellow senior man, OG Pan-Africanist. Our partner, Robin Lightborn.
Mr. Wilson is now the ambassador designate for Ghana.
Right.
And all of this came out of this
The research.
extensive
Right.
research that Christopher has been doing.
Yeah.
So we see that we're moving in the right direction. And you said you were asking about future goals and things like that. We recently, a week and a half ago, we opened a trade mission in Accra under the umbrella of Mr. Wilson. And that trade mission office is intended to springboard into a trade mission where we have business persons in the Bahamas are able to partner with business persons in Ghana to be able to go directly to our descendants, the country where we're from, as opposed to going to other countries and empowering other nationalities. We want to do it to us and our own, from whence we came. So that's what's one of the things, and we're starting with the Western region and specifically with the Ahanta region before he expands throughout the rest of Ghana, being the ambassador designate for all of Ghana.
Yes.
And one of the other things that Nana had envisioned is to be able to do pilgrimages to Ghana, and not just Bahamians going, persons throughout the diaspora, where his research has led to show where warriors were dropped off in different countries throughout the diaspora. So we want to be in a position to carry them back, to see this birthplace of Junkanoo, to see where this warrior lived, and to walk the streets that he walked. You can't see the bumps, but under this jacket, it's crazy.
One of the reasons he was so wealthy, he controlled the freshwater reserves in the region, and the reservoir at Fort John Canoe is still there. And you take a sip from the same water that our ancestors took it from, the same water John Quao used to use politically. He used to charge Europeans 6 times what he would charge African just to pass through, raiding slave ships from his fort. Unequivocally and unapologetically anti-slavery, anti-colonization. Had a troops of over 20,000 people that were quite diverse, as a matter of fact. They say half of them was Ashantis and Fantes.
Definitely a powerful story, just in terms of what you've done to get to this point. Even more powerful story knowing the true story of John Quao. You hear about John Canoe. It's a very simplified, watered down story. He started John Canoe, the blah, blah, blah. So what do you think are the next steps in terms of having an impact here, educating students and young people about our true history as it relates to hunting culture?
Glad you asked that question. I don't want to say too much yet, but I think it should and it will be included in our curriculum from primary school right through to high school. And I think all of those theories should also still be included so that we could see how it was appropriated by the British and watered down.
So tell us a little bit. I know we got to wrap up. You mentioned the word pilgrimage. Persons who are watching the show, they may want to see it for themselves. They want to hear what a hunter, John Canoe, is like. So tell us about the pilgrimage and how people can find out more information.
Well, we encourage persons to go to the Sankofa Flamingo Facebook page or to my Facebook page, Angelique Bahamian Culture, to have any questions you have, because we have packages worked out and it is amazing. And persons would be able to see some of the pictures and videos that we would have had over the time. And the festival, we just were there a week and a half ago to experience the Kundum Festival in Princess Town. And I joined a group and I danced and it was amazing.
She was the first. She being modest. I made sure I do this. When we came out the van, they had this massive, big rush out for us. It was crazy. You weren't even expecting it. And she was given the honor of being the first Bahamian to rush with the hunters.
I love it. Well, it sounds like we need to get more of us over there through your organization and through your hard work.
Sankofa Flamingo.
Sankofa Flamingo. Make sure everyone checks it out on social media. We'd like to thank you both for coming to Bahamas at Sunrise this morning. So much more to talk about, so much more to look forward to. Keep up the good work. The ancestors are definitely smiling.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.